Hello, everyone. So, it's been about 1 year since I last made a Let's Play video. So, in that time, I've been busy on the music side of things. So, I have been uploading lots of new music on my music channel. And as mentioned last year, I am working on upgrading my equipment. So my equipment is pretty old, so around 8.5 years old. And unfortunately, I have not started my upgrade yet. So as a result, I'm just going to do some short visual novels just to keep this channel going. So, sorry, no Serenbanka or King Eater Lover Itch. So, for this extension of Generation 8.5, I'm just going to do some short visual novels. So the first one is going to be this one, Parquet, and it's by Ubisoft Sour. So it is a Ubisoft title. And this one is localized to English by Nico Neon. And this is actually Ubisoft's first title for their subsidiary called Ubisoft Sour. Well, actually the first one was Tasty Ramen Lucky or Unlucky Non-Stop. I forgot how the title went, but it was a modified version from their original Tasty Ramen Lucky that they released about 15 years ago. And it was originally made for the PSP, and then they later released it for PC. So anyways, going to this title, Parquet. So I've already played this in Japanese, and this one is more or less like a kinetic visual novel, so one route from start to end. And I know people criticized that this title didn't really have much about the romance, but it did make a pretty good story. So anyways, let's see what this title is about. So first, let's do prologue. Okay, so going to the prologue, I, Miyoshi Manaka, have come to gravely regret my choice of employment. So, Ibuki Corporation is a second-tier electronics manufacturer, and it's a company that is fairly well known across Japan. However, its glory days have long since passed. Why? Time has done nothing but exacerbate the company's steady decline. And many employees fear for the inevitable, so it soon might go to bankruptcy and shut down. So it's best at this point to jump ship and find something else that's profitable and has a better future going forward. And there are even rumors of management taking money and running. Well, that is true to some extent. So unfortunately, this was the only place that offered me employment, so basically I'll just take this for now, and hopefully something better comes down the road and I jump ship to that position. So I currently work as a secretary for one of the company directors. I study foreign language back in college, so I can interact with people from abroad to some extent. And in all honesty, I think that's the only reason I got hired. And I'm hoping to get a normal desk job, but lo and behold, now I am a secretary. So, in a sense, she might have got what she wanted originally. But unexpected, to be sure, but it is what it is. So I wonder if she's hoping that, well, this is not what I wanted to do in the first place, so I'm hoping to find something better. And luckily, I can learn all the skills needed for my job via memory grafting. So the BMI, also known as brain machine interface. And the name is pretty self-explanatory, I suppose. It's a device that aids in connecting the human mind to technology. Well, obviously the application of this device are wide and varied. And for example, you can watch movies or shows with it by transmitting the information directly into your brain. And it can also be viewed as, used as something of a VR device to play games. And conversely, you can also use it as a camera by turning your own sight into a live visual output. And has also become widely used to assist those who have suffered brain injuries. And by amplifying weakened nerve transmissions, it allows people that would otherwise be paralyzed to move. And even blind and deaf people can see and hear because of information that's transmitted directly into their brains via BMI. And what's more, there are even BMI prostheses that have faster reflex timings than real limbs. And additionally, the nerve sensors in such limbs can send feedback, allowing for even the sense of touch to be replicated. And the BMI has become a household name because of its wide range of applications in the field of medicine. And these days, research focuses on applying the system to medical support, robots, and to aid in the maneuvering of drones. However, BMI is most widely used for something called memory grafting. So what is memory grafting? So essentially, you can implant the digitized experiences of others directly into your brain to learn skills. Okay. And I grafted all the skills I needed as a secretary into my brain, of course. So this cutting-edge technology has made it easier to train workers in countries all across the globe and has lowered the learning curve for jobs in every field. Well, if that's the case, then that would mean more competition. And at that point, you'll have more people to compete with when it comes to applications. And now everyone has the ability to be proficient at something. So, like I said, it increases competition, and now you have to find some way to make yourself stand out out of everyone who has similar or maybe better skills than you. But it is a convenient technology that has reduced employment hurdles, but on the flip side, it's resulted in a shortage of available jobs. There you go, that makes sense. So a lot of BMI are kept from the public for this reason, to preserve the societal hierarchy. Okay, so, well, if you are good thanks to BMI, then you can fight for one of those executive elite positions and get paid well. And at that point, even the leaders are going to face tough competition to keep their position or get hired into one. So these BMI are manufactured and sold by private electronics companies. And though the details vary from company to company, Ibuki, of course, is one such BMI manufacturing company, and they've held quite a bit of influence in the industry. However, they've begun to lag behind their competitors in recent years. So now more companies are making this BMI device, and I think Ibuki hasn't come up with some new feature that's worth selling or marketing to people. So their financial records aren't a pretty sight from what I hear. But then again, the chance to successfully bounce to a new role is quite hard in this climate. And thinking about it was too stressful, so I stopped. And then one day, my boss summoned me for... Oh, so I have a new job for you. So am I finally getting my own office? Oh, so for a secretary, she gets the front desk, and that's not really considered her own personal space, I suppose. Wait, so also a pay cut, maybe? Well, this might be the right time to quit and jump ship. Okay, so your new job is to watch over someone. Wait, so doll? He then takes me to a mysterious room, and the work desk looks fine, but the bed, toilet, and shower room catch my attention immediately. And it almost feels like they expect me to live here. So wait, is this my dormitory or my dorm room? Wait, no. So is that actually what's going to happen to me? So they're going to lock me here like a prison cell? So do they want me to be some sort of escort? So, okay, tell me what this is about, because it sounds suspicious and questionable. However, thinking for a second, I quickly realized there's no need to hire a lawyer. I spot a man already in the room, and he must be the one living here. Oh, so this is what the director wants me to do here. So watch over this man. So I've never seen his face before, but he appears to be around the same age as me. And they aren't an employee here. Or are they? Okay, so you watch over this man. So who is he? He's a doll! I told you this! But he looks human to me. So this is more than a doll. How? So this story is getting more bizarre by the second. So is he some consultant or advisor? Wait, so why do they need a doll if they're just going to graft some information onto him? Supposedly? But anyways, this is company top secret, so don't tell anyone.
の部屋から出すこともな。常に鍵をかけておくように。
Okay, so it is a prison cell for the doll, not Manaka.
鍵も？いや、でもそれは。
Wait. I looked back and noticed that there's no doorknob, only a keyhole where it should be. So it is like a prison cell. Oh, so I think I understand what's going on. So they're keeping this person locked in here. There you go. Wait, so what the hell? So they're straight up imprisoning them. That's true. And is that even legal? But then it gets like, well, he's a doll, he's not a human, so he's not bound by the rights that regular humans have. So, in a sense, he's just a robot that follows orders. And I sure hope I don't end up implicated in some sort of crime for doing this. Well, I would much rather not go to jail. Well, thank you very much. So I don't want to be caught for facilitating or being part of this job where we keep this doll locked up against his rights and such.
心配するな。警察沙汰になることはない。
And more importantly, this is illegal and no one else knows about it, so... Well, don't worry. You won't be in trouble with the law.
そう言われましても。
But then again, it's like...
面倒ごとを避けるために説明しておく。
Well, anyways, so listen to what I have to say.
こいつは人の手で作られた人形のようなものだ。
There you go. So, he's a doll. That's all you need to know. So, what the hell am I hearing? And this is total nonsense.
天才を生み出す実験の中で生まれた試作品だ。
So, anyways, this is a project that we're working on, and he's going to be the perfect genius.
はあ、天才ですか。
Okay?
メモリグラフトを使えば天才を作れるんじゃないか。そう考えたやつがいたらしい。
いわゆる魂の移植ってことですか？
That kind of makes sense. So I'm sure it's like, well, for soul grafting, he has a heart and is able to make decisions on his own. So he's more than just some person with all sorts of knowledge.
でもそれは不可能だと言われてますよね。
So basically, like how they phrased it in Short Circuit movie, it's like he's alive. He's more than just a robot. He can think for himself, he can make his own decisions, and he has his own personality. So memory grafting is convenient, but it has limitations. And when it comes to grafting human beings in their entirety, a vessel to house their consciousness is needed. However, it is not easy for the human brain to maintain two different people. Well, that's true. And that is not the only problem with the notion. And due to the colossal volume of information that comprises the human brain, properly converting that is exceedingly difficult or hard. Hence, only individual experiences and skills can be grafted, so it can't graft everything.
だが、分割された経験や技術を集めていけば、いずれは新たな人間になるのではないか。
But if we use it extensively, if we keep doing it, at some point, we'll be able to transfer everything that's in a human's mind to this doll, and therefore, we create a new person.
それが優秀な人間の経験や技術であれば、天才になるのではないか。なんてことを考えたやつがいたんだ。
それがこの人っ ですか。
So who's the them? So they be some kind of Frankenstein monster. Okay. Well, wasn't that the name of the doctor that made the monster? That's true. Well, not that matters.
よくそんな人体実験を OK しましたね、この人。
詳しいことは私も知らんが、体も実験で生み出したらしいぞ。
So this doll body is part of the experiment. What?
中身が空なら、意識が生まれるほどの大量な記憶も移植ができるはずだ、とな。
So right now, it's a doll, but if we fill this doll up with all sorts of information, it will make this person or this doll a genius.
警察沙汰にならないっていうのはそういう。
結局、計画は頓挫したらしいがな。
But then again, it has hit a roadblock.
頓挫？でも、あれ？この人は失敗したってことですよね。
So why? So what do you mean? Is it because it failed or something?
詳しいことは知らんが、非合法な研究だからな。何か問題でも起きたんだろう。
So, at the same time, we have to keep it secret, and I think it's like, well, there are some things we can't do, and it really hampers us in making this experiment successful.
研究は凍結。それまでの成果は流出し、売り飛ばされた。巡り巡って私がそれを手に入れたわけだ。
Oh, okay, so as a result, we couldn't continue, and now it's just extra baggage, and it just got dumped on me.
はあ、そうなんですか。
I see. And does he seriously expect me to believe this? And what sort of impasse is he talking about? And do I even want to ask? The whole creating the perfect genius story seems a bit too far-fetched. And honestly, even if such thing is possible, I doubt the resulting specimen would end up in his hands of all people. So, something doesn't seem right.
で、いつ起きるんですか？というか、目覚めるんですか？
So wait, is he going to wake up?
そのはずだが。
Well, he should.
今まで目覚めたことはないらしいが。
は？目覚めたことはないって、
So wait, so is he alive?
調整は済ませたから、次は目覚めると言われたんだ。
So, in short, yes. So, he definitely got scammed. Wait, so there must be some kind of catch to this. I shouldn't take what he says at face value. So, there might be some secret that he too is hiding from me. Man, they don't pay me enough for this. I better start searching for a new job. However, the moment I think that the person's eyelids begin twitching, so he is alive.
目を開けそう。
Wait, so his eyes are opening up.
何？
Wait, really? And my boss pushes me away and rushes over to the person. And then, okay, so he wakes up.
私のために働け。
So you'll work for me.
お前の生きる価値は私の役に立つことだ。覚えておけ。そのためにお前は生まれたんだ。
So you're my slave. You're my dog. You do what I tell you to. You will help me and make me successful. Wait, so what in the world is this nut job doing? And who will obey a self-centered bastard who talks like this? And I'd be fuming if he tried that crap on me. So it's like, well, he's a doll. He has no emotions, and therefore he'll take every word that I tell him or order him. And this is not the first time I've had this thought, but he really needs to work on the way he asks others for favors. So he can be demanding and he can be harsh in his requests.
これが原因でこの人が仕事を断っても私の責任にはならないよね。
But you know, if he does stand up and confront, I can't help you with that. However, my worries were unfounded. So what happened next? And this man is not the least bit upset about my boss's highness. So do this, do that. You work for me. You make me successful. Actually, he didn't even display any hints of emotion whatsoever. And he merely got up and did whatever he was told, no questions asked. And he is more than capable, I find out. And the results he produced went above and beyond expectations, time and time again. So he is following orders and he's doing it really well. But he didn't stop at small spending reduction adjustments. Oh, so he did more than what the boss ordered him to do. And the man planned structural reforms, including major personnel changes. And that's not even half of it. So what's next? Or what's more? And I'm surprised to learn that he also has extensive BMI related expertise. And he came up with plans to improve Ibuki's BMI projects as well. And his updates are well received with critical acclaim, pretty much single-handedly bringing the company back to prominence. So now, once again, the company is successful. So BMI is a cutting-edge technology that is being researched all across the world. And I can't believe a single person holds such extensive knowledge in that field.
あの実験の話、マジだったわけ。
Oh, so the experiment did turn out to be true. And I once tried asking him,
あなたは何者なんです？
So who are you? Or what are you? I don't know, says the doll or man. I have no memories from before I woke up in the room. He answers, but his expression is still instructable. And he says he doesn't know anything about his past, but he seems to not care. Or rather, he doesn't seem to have the emotion to lament his lost memories. Okay? And like the boss said, so he's a puppet. Wait, robot or AI? And I think I understand now. So if he woke up in that state, it's no surprise that he just accept whatever commands are given to him.
こういうのも刷り込みっていうのかしら。
So maybe that was how he was built, so the submissive nature grafted onto him. And the reforms continued, and Ibuki's management improved dramatically. And at the very least, the solvency problem had been all but squashed. And there is some pushback to the change, of course. However, as a whole, the reforms are very popular among the employees, especially when the unnecessary meetings were cut back, as well as the killer overtime most were subjected to. So now they're working better hours, and there's less wasteful time spent in the company. And pretty much all have of his proposals have been adopted unconditionally, but not all of them. So which one is not being agreed upon?
取締役の解任、報酬の引き下げ、バカなことを言うな。
Okay, so looks like the reforms and changes have hit the director. So now the director has to step down and take a pay cut.
誰がそんな提案をしろと言った？私は役に立てと言ったんだ。
So now it turned against him. It's like, okay, so in order to keep the company afloat, we have to cut you. And, well, obviously, it's gonna hurt his paycheck, and he thought that he was safe.
二度とそんなくだらないことを言うな。わかったな。
So make any change except get rid of me. And that proposal was met with indignation. Naturally, of course. A person like him would never let go of their power and status. That's very true. But what surprised me, however, is the displeasure in the man's expression as his proposal was shot down. So he's unfazed. He doesn't get hurt by the director yelling at him, spitting at him, and forcing him to change his decision. That is, if I was not imagining that. And the shift in his expression is so subtle that I thought I could not help but doubt myself. After all, this is the first time I've ever seen him display emotion. So it looks like he's gained some emotion through learning and half a year later, sales are already also on a steady upward trend. And now Ibuki is the undisputed industry leader of Japanese BMI manufacturers. However,
まだだ。こんなものでは足りない。業績を上げて、息吹をもっと大きくしろ。
and now you can see that the director is getting greedy, so more, more, more! You did great, but that's not enough.
お前にはそれだけの能力があるんだ。価値を示せ。
And that's all you can do. That's all you're good at. That's your only worth.
必要なことは何でもしろ。わかったな。
Again, he appears unhappy. In fact, the expression on his face is one of complete irritation. And there's no longer any doubt in my mind. So, his emotions are writ large on his face. I used to think he's something like a robot. But at some point, he started displaying emotions. So now he's learning more about human personality, emotions, and such, and now he can show it to everyone, especially Manaka and the director. So whatever needs to be done, he mutters under his breath, and the irritation has disappeared from his face. So instead, the corners of his mouth cork into a slight smile. So it's like the smirk of some villain plotting their revenge. So I have not the faintest idea what's on his mind. However, I can tell that he's changing as a person. And that's my impression, at least.
にしてもどうするつもりなんだろう。
So the whatever needs to be done. And then...
どういうつもりだ、貴様!
So I think in the end, the other people agreed to let the director go. So I think at this point it's like, well, if this man says so, then we'll have to follow it. So whatever needs to be done. And my boss flips into a rage. And he's evidently less than pleased about what has been done. And I can see why. So you disobeyed my orders. I told you, make the company bigger, more successful, and make yourself more useful. And now he's ranting and pouting. It's like, well, it did not mean that you cut me from my position. And the very same proposal to have my boss step down, that was rejected once. So, without authorization, he could not force it through. However, faced with the challenge, he decided to simply give himself that authority. So, he purchased 51% of the company stock. So, okay, so now I'm a big owner. And that said, that was not his course of action. And he persuaded several major shareholders, won the favor of other senior executives, and garnered support that way. And still, how in the world did he manage to do that? And were the memories of a con man also grafted onto him? And on the subject, I actually helped him by purchasing some stock. I hope Manaka doesn't get in trouble as well. So it looks like what happened was that this man was planting some kind of revenge for the bossy, greedy director. And he didn't show it in his emotions, so it was hard to tell what he was up to. And now that everything is all good to go, he's able to find a good way to throw this director out of the office. And a very small amount, of course, but if the company can be kept afloat, I'm happy to be part of the change. And I wonder if Manaka's happy now that this greedy director or her boss is getting thrown out, and maybe they might find somebody else that's much friendlier to replace this director. So this is necessary for Ibuki's propensity. So prosperity, the man says, his tone flat. And at this point, the director hasn't made a good reason or justification about why he should stay. So what will he do as part of fixing the company's finances up and improving on the outlook for the company? So he's offered no ideas or suggestions. And now it's pretty much dead weight in the company. So the current management does not change. There's the chance the company will stagnate and spiral towards bankruptcy once again. So we need new management. And therefore, it'll be safer and more secure for me to run it myself, he says. So I'll take over as the new leadership manager while I look for new people to run the company. And now that he has 51% of the company's shares, he kind of is like the decision maker, or he is like the chairman of the company. So he pretty much called him incompetent. That's true. Well, I don't think that matters to the man. And my boss is almost frothing at the mouth in rage. So wait, I'm the director. I'm a big man in this company. You can't get rid of me like that. However, he begins to stammer. So he lost. and his shoulders drop, and he stands there stunned.
くそくそなんてことだ。貴様のような出来損ない。くそ
And I could not believe that you would do this to me. So you were all broken, defective, bad, and
出来損ないの人形に。
and thus concludes the hidden truth behind Ibuki's miraculous revival and hostile takeover. And now that he can institute proposals with ease, Ibuki's going from strength to strength. And he's making the company prosper just as he was asked to. So he was given this simple task, and now it's like, well, so the man makes his decision, he gains more lessons, emotions, personalities, and now it's like, well, after my careful thought and analysis, in order for the company to be more prosperous, we have to let this greedy director go. So he's old, he's thinking about old ideas, and his old ideas don't work with the direction that this company's going, so it pretty much backfired on him. So ultimately he did obey the order he was given, ironically, so he did step down and leave and take a pay cut.
もしかしてこれって一種の反抗期かしら。
And one day he came to me with a question. So, what are humans, and what is the definition of normal?
はい。
So Manaka does not know. So what are humans and what is normal?
何をおっしゃってるんです？
So I don't know. I ask, feeling a bit nervous. And there's no reason why I should be. So why? So why am I nervous talking to this doll now turned man? And how can he say something like this with a straight face? So he still shows lack of emotions. So do you remember what your boss told me? So I'm a defective puppet.
言ってましたね。
Well, he did say that.
ただの負け惜しみみたいなものだと思いますけど。
Well, that's true. So he's just pouting, angry. But either way, it's true that I am not normal, so I realized that myself. And he already knew about his origins before taking over the company. However, he feigned indifference at first. And lately, however, he seems very concerned about his existence. And at some point, his tone also becomes a lot more cordial. So now he's becoming more friendly, he's talking more human-like and able to interact with people better than being a robot. There you go. So he starts speaking like a person instead of a robot. But I never expected him to start asking me these weird questions. So, what is normal? So, how am I supposed to answer him? So, I've been thinking because of that.
はあ、何をでしょう。
So, thinking about what? About what it means to be a normal human. So, do you know, Manaka-san? Wait, me?
それは、難しい問題ですね。
So please, leave me out of this. Indeed. So the concept of normalcy itself is subjective. So it's hard to come up with an exact answer. So it's hard to define what is normal for a human being. So everyone has different opinions about what is considered normal.
微妙に違う感がありますけど、それでいいです。はい。
Well, I'll just say that I don't know what you are asking about. So I think I should learn more about it myself then.
はい。
Okay? So I want to go on a journey of self-discovery. So how about I go and explore the world and see what normal for a human being is myself. Oh, so that is where he is going, or this is going. He wants to go on a soul-searching trip. So I want to know more. And just hearing this gives me secondhand embarrassment. So it seems like I was a bad teacher. I can't explain to him, so now he has to go find the answer himself. However, he is serious about this, so I should respond appropriately. And there's no harm in learning more about the world, I suppose.
わかりました。それで、私は何をすればいいんですか?
Okay, so I'll let you leave and explore the world. So, do you need me to help you with anything? So there is something I want you to prepare, but for now...
はい、何でしょう?
So what is it? So, can you give me a name? Okay.
名前ですか?
So name. So is that strange of me to ask? So aren't names normal? So everyone has a name. So you're Manaka and...
いえ、気にする方が普通と言いますか、当然の反応だと思います。
Well, no, don't worry. So I like it that you're asking me about your name. So my old boss, who treated him like a puppet, never gave him one. So you're just a doll, you're a robot, you follow orders, period. And I once suggested that he do, but he snapped back at me and told me it was unnecessary. And I fully expect the puppet himself to feel the same. And perhaps I witnessed how emotionless he used to be. And I'm convinced he will never feel the need for a name. So hearing this from now is terribly surprising.
私が決めていいんですか?
So you want me to give you a name? Well, you're the only other one here.
それはそうなんですけど。
Well, makes sense. And due to the takeover incident, a number of employees do know of his existence. So now more people know about this illegal experiment project. But, however, they know nothing more. And he is regarded by everyone as this mysterious figurehead, and I'm his only point of contact. So, Manaka. Though I am not complaining about my job, I don't mind it. So at least there's some more color to Manaka's work now. And you're the only one who's acknowledged me since I woke up. And I have no one else but you, so I would like you to decide on my name.
そこまで言われたら。
Let's see. So what name? What name? And I doubt he'll get the joke out if I try to dodge the subject with a silly name. And I guess I should just pick something simple and not too obnoxious. So let's see. First name and last name. And maybe I should pick a name that I'm familiar with instead of trying to go with something unique.
伊吹。
How about Ibuki?
伊吹かなとっていう名前はどうですか?
Okay, so how about you are Ibuki Kanato? So Ibuki being the company name I think that's gonna be his last name. There you go. So Ibuki for the company. And Kanato, well, he's always seemed like a wish granter, and Kanao means to grant wishes in Japanese, so maybe it'll be a fitting choice. So that makes sense for him. Although I will keep that to myself because it's kind of embarrassing to admit. But then again, I'm sure any name that Manaka comes up with will sound embarrassing to her. Okay, so his first name is Kanato and his last name is Ibuki. So Ibuki representing the company that he was built. Okay, so I like that. Okay, so I'll be Ibuki Kanato.
そうですか。お気に召したのなら良かったです。
So, thank you for giving me my name. But I am a little surprised. And you thank me for my work before, yes. But this is different, so... Okay, so rather than a business formality, it felt sincere, so more personal related. So now, this might be the first time I've seen him so genuinely touched by someone's actions. Well, giving a name is pretty special. And he's changed much since the day we've met.
いえ、そんな頭を下げてもらうほど大したことでもありませんから。
Well, I'm sure it means a lot to Kanato.
それよりも用意してほしいものに関して連絡をもらえれば対応しておきますので。
So anyways, tell me what you need before you take off. Alright. And that's how I began helping him prepare for his journey of self-discovery. And it sounds harder than it actually is, to be honest. And I'm sure Manaka enjoys doing this versus her usual desk job as secretary, or maybe now that she has an office. And if he's setting out to find himself and learn about the world, the less he brings, the better. And thus, I prepare only the basics for him, like money and smartphone, to stay in contact. And the rest is up to him, so what he does.
にしても自分探しね。
Well, I'm a bit worried, but he should be fine. I mean, well, this is Japan. And even if he runs into problems, he'll manage. Probably.
言われるままに従順だったのが反抗期を経て今度は思春期？
So he's now in his adolescence, so he's now a teenager.
中二病はないのかしら？
So I hope he doesn't bring that attitude like normal teenagers.
何にしても大きくなっちゃって。いや、なんで私この年で子育ての考えにふけってるんだろう。仕事しよう。
Well, anyways, I had to get back to work, so I have my own real work to do.
Parquet.
Okay, so that's the end of the prologue. So I'm going to cut the episode here, and in the next episode, we'll see what New Game holds. So I'm sure for New Game, we're going to be looking at the story from now Kanato's perspective. And obviously, we're going to see how it fares with his adventures in Japan. So what he's going to do in his discovery to understand the meaning of life and what being normal is for a human. And pretty soon we're gonna see when he meets these two girls that we see on the title screen. But anyways, that's too much to say because all the cool stuff is coming shortly. So I'll leave that to episode 2 and beyond. And with that in mind, I'll see you later.